So Tammy, you've been telling me that it is possible that you have people that you know of, it's not urban myth, for someone to get funding for technology such as an iPad through insurance. This is so news to me, and I know that our viewers want to know about this. Fill us in.
Well, that's one of the first questions I ask families is, have you tried to get this covered by insurance? And granted, 2.5 years ago, they would have been like, what are you talking about? But now, especially since this fall, when Apple did the update on their iOS 6 operating system for their devices, they added guided access, which what it is you can go in and lock in an app that's the only app that the child or the person can get into for whatever time until you take the guided access off. So insurance now can see that an iPad or iPhone, iPod Touch can be used as a dedicated communication device. So you can lock in their communication app that's the only thing they can get to. Because that was always the concern with an iPad. It can do too much. You can go to the internet. You can go to all these different apps. So, the medical field likes an item to do one thing. A tissue is a tissue, toilet paper is toilet, you only do one thing. And so with iOS, with the guided access now, they can now say they can use that communication app. So what I suggest to families is you need the iPad, the protective case, and the appropriate apps that you're going to use for it to be a communication device. Or we've also had, and I'd say in the last 3 months, we've had 6 families get their iPad protective case and apps covered by insurance. And you need to think medically when you're applying to insurance. As great as they are educational, that's school district, and insurance isn't going to want to touch that. You need to think medically. And so by taking it to the communication aspect, which we all need to be able to communicate our basic wants and needs. We've also had older children, 19, 20-year-olds that are getting their devices covered for like visual schedules, med monitoring, keeping them on task so they can transition to the workplace. So it does seem there's that gap that what are we doing with our children that are about ready to age out of a lot of the system programmings that are out there. Now they're finding with these devices, they can do more than be Walmart greeters or, you know what I mean? And that's the approach that you need to take when you're talking with insurance.
And you had said to me how important it is that you use the right verbiage, that when you're dealing with these insurance companies, and sometimes that's a minefield in and of its own. So who do you contact, do you know, at the insurance company, and what do you say?
Well, I did some research on my own. I have Blue Cross and Blue Shield, so I walked through the minefields there to try to find out what could be covered. And then also here in Ohio with Medicaid, I know a lot of our children end up getting Medicaid coverage, so we wanted to talk with them. And talking with them, I always say you get more with molasses than you do with vinegar. So I always am very nice. You always want to have a team approach when you're doing it. Like anyone wants to share their knowledge. So if you're calling them saying, my speech pathologist is saying that this would be a great device. My school district's already using them in the classroom with my child. Now I need to get this at home so we can transition all those skills over to home too, and kind of take them on. The person that you're calling isn't the one that's making the decision, but they're a great team player to have on your side to maybe help you with the verbiage to use. The medical necessity is the key. I mean, because you're talking insurance, you need to talk about all the medicalness of this device, how it's going to help. It's great that it's going to help your family, but insurance doesn't need to know that. So you focus on maybe the fine motor skills that they're going to be able to work on while they're swiping the screen, and that they can do it, because that's the other thing. Not every child is necessarily capable of using an iPad or iPhone. So you need to show that it is an appropriate medical device for their child. And the verbiage, it does seem to be different from insurance company to, and it shouldn't be, but it is. But there are codes we have found. We listed them on our Tuesday Treasure, but there are ways. You just need to think of it as the augmentative alternative communication device. They've been around for years. The big Dynavoxes, the GoTalks, those Medicaid is covered, and they're $5,000-$6,000. So you need to work with the approach. If I were to get one of those, how would I go about getting it? And getting your speech pathologist, usually having the OSHA certification behind their name is helpful. My understanding from Blue Cross is what they told me. They really want to know that this is a specialist that's going to be working with your child, and they already know what apps they're going to use. So it's the whole package. You come to them with everything that you're going to need.
Tammy, this is such great information, and I know it's going to help a lot of families. So thank you for sticking around for one more segment, and I want to remind everybody, go to iTaalk, www.iTaalk.org, and as she mentioned in the Tuesday's Treasures, you can go there and find out more information about this.